found a nonprofit school in Atlanta that can make this dream a reality. The kids sing and dance in class, are sorted into houses like in Harry Potter, achieve some of the best results in America. 94% of the kids at the school are on scholarship. And to top it all off, there are flying dragons.
The biggest YouTuber in the world is in hot water over a video he made promoting a school in Atlanta. MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, released a video in late April titled, "We Schooled Hundreds of Teachers." Despite its seemingly innocuous premise, it was revealed that the video was sponsored by an organization founded by Charles Koch. The video lists the organization Stand Together as one of the main financial sponsors during the video, which showcases a private nonprofit middle school called the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta. Charles Koch founded Stand Together in 2003 as a philanthropic network to support the interests of its conservative billionaire donors. Koch is chairman and co-CEO of the organization still. Both Charles and his late brother David, who died in 2019, have spent decades trying to dismantle public education in America. And working with arguably the biggest content creator in the world on a video about a very successful private school is certainly within the organization's political interests. So what are some of these attacks on public schools? Supporting the seating of state legislators who intentionally defund public education, destabilizing state funding in schools to promote policies that divert funds away from traditional public schools to charter schools, private schools, and online education under the guise of school choice. Funding higher education centers that create the curriculum and textbooks being used in some K through 12 programs, and astroturfing moral panic about ideologies that critique their idea production and theory of change as regressive and racist. And when David Koch was the Libertarian Party's vice presidential nominee in 1980, he ran on a platform that advocated for the complete separation of education and state. Government schools lead to the indoctrination of children and interfere with the free choice of individuals. Government ownership, operation, regulation, and subsidy of schools and colleges should be ended. Now, do you think, Francesca and Maz, do you think that MrBeast deserves this criticism? If he's trying to do this as some sort of philanthropic effort to lift up the school, to get better educational outcomes, is this criticism warranted?
Yeah, absolutely, hands down, no question about it. I mean, it matters who you're partnering with. It matters what school you're highlighting. I mean, a school that has dragons, cool. Where are the books, dude? Do you have the Diary of Anne Frank? Because that's kind of a seminal firsthand account of the Holocaust. No, dragon on, baby. Like, it's just ridiculous, you know? And yeah, the Koch brothers, it's no secret they've been trying to do this for a long time. When I read this story, what's important to know is this is a collaboration between one massive tax write-off, which is the Koch Foundation, and MrBeast's philanthropic arm, which is not his main YouTube arm, but is another massive tax write-off. So not only are they funneling money into trying to support these very privatized schools with all these bells and whistles, but and defund public education, but they're also doing it by getting a massive tax break that just their two organizations are just throwing down, and they get to avoid picking up the bill for things like genocide abroad.
Yeah, Maz, what do you think?
First of all, yeah, you said astroturfing and you use it as a verb. I didn't know you could use astroturfing as a verb. So thank you for bringing my attention to that. I'm going to look it up afterwards to understand what that means. But secondly, it's got to suck to be one of the Koch brothers because, I mean, they suck. But anything they do, there's something devious behind it. Like if they say, one of the Koch brothers helped an old lady walk across the street, I'd be like, what was he doing it for? Why did he do it? Was it a tax write-off? Was it a way to get the government to give him more benefit? I mean, it's crazy because the truth is on its surface, as you said, this school looks pretty amazing. And you go, oh, wow, they're putting all this money into this school and it's helping these kids do what they want to do. But you got to dig a little deeper and go, oh, wait a minute, this is all against public schools. As Francesca said, I bet you look at the curriculum, there's a lot of stuff that is not allowed at this school that is considered quote unquote woke. The thing with MrBeast is, again, I guess at this point, he's got enough success that he should have a team that vets these types of things out a little further to just make sure you're getting in bed with the right people and showcasing the right things. Because again, listen, individually speaking, if you went to those kids that are at that school, I bet you a lot of the kids and a lot of parents would say, wow, 90% scholarship. They're not thinking about the money that's behind it necessarily versus the opportunities their kid might get to go to the school and, you know, go on and go to college or do whatever they want to do with their lives. But yes, if the name Koch brothers is on anything, that's where I would, you know, if I were working for MrBeast, I'd be like, look, they're doing some good stuff. Koch brothers on there.
But that's how mainstream it is. You know, Jordan, I mean, like, I think that's how it doesn't matter. Like, to them, Koch is a good name. To them, standing together, that's a good thing. To them, school choice, it's been so mainstream that people don't actually think about the implications. I just want to mash up in the exact same way, super stylized, of all the like underfunded public schools with like, you know, it's just like, you know, here is where a toilet used to be, but now it's just a geyser. And here is a rat dropping. And here is like, well, this used to be the library. Like, that would be very fun to me. Jordan, lastly, sorry to interrupt, take up your time, is that we've done so many stories on TYT about corrupt owners of charter schools. Like, it is, like, if you, look, honestly, I'm gonna give y'all a financial tip. If you wanna make money quick, get into the charter school business. You'll be flying on private jets, you will be dining in incredible restaurants, and the school, forget about that. That's just ridiculous. But this is like a pastor with a Rolex. I mean, it is so ripe. The privatization movement is so ripe for corruption, and yeah, the Kochs don't care.
Yeah, there's so little oversight over that whole industry.
Yes.
A buddy of mine wrote a couple stories in the mid-2010s for the Akron Beacon Journal about how Ohio was just kind of the Wild West on charter schools, and it was the same people. Eventually, it got so bad they would shut it down and then reopen the next year under a new name. But it was the same people, and just like they were lining their pockets. It was such a waste. But that's what Republicans want, because it helps them control the curriculum and it guts public schools. It's sad. And this kind of stuff, the aesthetic, why they wanted to do this was kids are going to see that, compare it to their own school, and think, wow, my school is really boring. It's like, it's so simple. The connection is easy. And on the Stand Together thing, you're talking about how it's been mainstreamed. They changed their name in 2019 to Stand Together, and you look at the site now, and it looks like just a general, you could even say in some ways, a liberal advocacy organization. It looks like it. And they really boast their criminal justice reform work. Unfortunately, a lot of progressive groups and allies and a lot of liberal organizers have worked with them on criminal justice reform, which give them a lot of credibility. And you see that and you think, wow, this is great. No, it's because they don't like it from a tax perspective. They don't like it from a federal budget or a state budget perspective. They want to reduce any spending whatsoever. And this is just one way where you see a lot of government outlays. On foreign policy, there's a lot of really good progressive organizations that work with the Koch network because they don't want to see any money going to war. So it's like it's one of those complicated scenarios where it's like, I get it, but I don't want to align myself with you on this. It's really tricky. Go ahead.
They had that commercial a while back. I don't know if it's still running, but a while back it was like Koch Industries. We are doing this and doing that. It was all these good things that they're doing, and if you didn't know what they were, you'd be like, oh wow, Koch Industries are great people. You know, it's amazing how being multi-billionaires, how you can manipulate media to make you look good. And again, this is one of those situations. I don't know where MrBeast stands on any of his politics, but it feels like someone didn't think this fully through, or maybe he believes in it and he went for it. So that's what we're seeing.
I mean, that's what's sort of sick, I think, generally, because MrBeast is controversial broadly because of some of the charity work that he does. Because not because people, it's like a bad thing to help people, but it lays bare that charities are often stopgaps. They're often the ones who come in to rescue a situation when the government has failed. I mean, there are consequences to deregulation. There are consequences to corrupt politicians. There are consequences to inaction and to American infrastructure crumbling. And so charities are like, oh, it's great, it's my philanthropy, it's my charity. But really, it's a reason to get dressed up for a gala. It's a reason to have a tax write-off. And at the end of the day, it actually allows government to get off from their responsibilities, which are things like supporting K through 12 education.
My criticism of him outside of this video is just that he does this stuff for engagement, for views, and none of his philanthropic work has ever struck me as altruistic. And I realize when you're in an algorithmic based platform, you have to continue pushing stuff out. But unfortunately, the result of his success is there are a lot of copycats who don't have the style, don't have the backing, don't have the editing, and really don't have like the conceptual framework for stuff that is more as polished as his. So you have people trying to become the next MrBeast, just throwing money in a homeless person's face on camera.
God,
and it's just like, no. Oh, look how great I gave giving a homeless person $1,000. And it's like, yeah, they need the help, but like, get them off, just do it because it's the right thing to do. It feels weird exploiting someone's suffering for content. I hate that whole industry.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.